All right. Says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. We will get this started. Appreciate y'all waiting in the chat. Got about 170 of you waiting. To apologize for that. But it should be a fun race today. I think the way the grid is set up makes for a very interesting DFS slate. Obviously, we have a ton of chalk. But I got my loud and clear from Andre. Awesome. I got a dono off the rip. I do appreciate that. Let's see who it's from. Chris Jenkins. Always appreciate that. In the Discord as well. So thank you very much, sir. And I got the Blaney shirt on today. I mean, we'll see how much I end up with him in DFS. I'm going to be building my lineups probably during the show. I don't think I'm going to have too much for DFS purposes, but I do have a bet on him to win, so I would totally be fine with it. And this is one of those races where Blaney definitely has a chance, so should be a fun one. We have a ton of chalk in the field today, tons of place differential. I know I mentioned in the video, I recorded the first part before qualifying, and I was like, well, I tend to build Atlanta like a tamer Talladega because we have seen the front row be optimal, but it's still a decent chunk of place differential. But not all, but almost all the big name drivers are starting in the rear. We have Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell. We have good super speedway racer in Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, LaJoy, Stenhouse. Like the list just goes on and on. So we have tons of chalk to talk about. There's definitely going to be pivots to be had. I don't think we should go full on chalk in tournaments, because I do think some of these guys closer to the front could be in the optimal. Obviously, if they contend for the win or finish top 5 or lead some laps, guys like Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin starting inside the top 20, William Byron. And it's going to be a tough path for the Penske boys, Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. They're going to have to lead a good chunk of this race and win for it to work. Now, is it possible? Sure, we saw Joey Logano do it earlier in the season, but just know the path and the probability of that. It's not the most likely scenario. So we'll get into it here. Let me roll to the top. And good morning, Bull, says Chris. Maybe a little bit late today. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit and say I was playing pickleball. Yes, I just got back from pickleball, which, tell you right now, not a good idea in Florida at 4 p.m. It's about 100 degrees, and it was not fun. And about a gallon of water. I'm not sure that was enough. But we made it on time-ish. What's up, Clint? Says hit the like button on your way in, people. Yeah, if you guys could do me a favor. Even a like on the stream does go a long way. What's up, Anthony? Says I have this weird feeling Austin Dillon is going to squeeze out a top 5 finish. Also, a lot of people ask where I'm getting the questions from, because if you're in chat right now, I'm probably way behind, but I answer every single question here. So just the luck of the draw, whoever's first. I'm just going down the list here. But I'll have Bob's Twitter open just because I saw there was some news with Christopher Bell. And I guess he's cheating or whatever it may be. But I want cheaters in my lineup. I have no problem with that. So let me pull up Bob's Twitter here and make sure I didn't miss anything too crazy. But if anyone goes to the rear today, I don't care. It's a plate track, and that just doesn't mean anything. So yeah, it says Christopher Bell. Car chief Christopher Bell will drop to the rear for adjustments and ejected. So the car has passed tech. Okay, anyway. Got to answer Anthony's questions here. Austin Dillon's going to squeeze on the top 5 finish. I mean, is it likely? Absolutely not. It's not something I would bet on. So, I mean, if he avoids cartage, sure, but there's just no way of knowing. Thomas says, Penn said watermelon was sold as wrong. Let's hope his race picks are better than his taste in food. I didn't even know that was a thing until a little bit ago, but I just don't see the need to do it. Watermelon's nice and sweet. I don't see why we have to add salt to it. Maybe I'm way off on that. Over under 508. I think the over hit. Over is always a safe bet. 1-2 says I consulted the Oracle, and she said Dillon will most certainly not place top 5. I don't know who that is, but I would have to agree. I don't think Austin Dillon's getting the top 5 today unless there's some mass carnage like we saw in Daytona not too long ago. What's up, Adam? Says, afternoon, Chris. Happy race day. When building GPPs, how many drivers are you targeting from each starting range, 1st through 10th, 11th through 20th, etc.? So I don't really have any groups this week. I'm kind of just letting it rip, but personally, I'll be definitely heavier on 20th on back. You can also add in Hamlin and Byron in there as well, but mainly just targeting drivers with some place differential today. I was planning on maybe being a little bit heavier on the guys in the top 20 heading into the week, but I didn't realize there's going to be so many big names starting with place differential, so it just makes it really tough to get 2 guys like Logano, Blaney, Like, I remember in the spring race when I was running Sims, Logano on the pole was optimal for me around 10-ish% of the time. And Ryan Blaney, this time around, it's only like 6 to 7% optimal. So it's definitely a bit of a hit. It's just because of all the place differential in that price range. So it's just going to be a tougher path for these guys to be optimal. Even if they do dominate, they're most certainly going to have to pretty much win, or all the place differential is going to have to get nuked, which the likelihood of all of them getting nuked is not that high. So I definitely think it's a little bit safer of a route. They offer you the highest floor and the highest ceiling, so it's not like you're really sacrificing one. I am sorry, Logan. I failed you. I did not start on time. Yeah, definitely a lot of slander, but unfortunately, we're not on time. T-Rod says, SHR and Penske were bad fast in qualifying trim. We'll go carry over to race trim. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Fords are fast today. I mean, we saw how fast they were at Atlanta earlier in the season. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Brett Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Chris Buescher, all those guys were fast the entire race. So I know Harvick, I think he got wrecked out of the lead, and I forget what else happened. I know Logano won, but yeah, they're fast. It's just, it's going to get shuffled around a bit. So, and they're all starting up front. So it just makes it tough for DFS purposes. Yeah, you know, hair and makeup always takes a little bit, bull. Joe Boo says, be forewarned, I played a lot of Blaney and my luck sucks, so beware. I'd be careful playing a lot of Blaney. I mean, he definitely can win this race. I have him as my projected winner, and I do have a bet on him to win. Like I said, I got the shirt on today, but just for DFS purposes, it's tough. It really is. Yeah, we're waxed, Steve. We're all good. Mojo says, how much chalk is too much chalk here? If this was Daytona, I would say being lower on the field to these chalk place differential plays and being higher on the guys like BJ McLeod, JJ Yaley would always make more sense. Cole Custer in the back, Noah Gragson. But this is not full on Daytona, so I'm fine with eating some of this chalk, but I would try to mix in guys like, instead of going, like, just for example, if you have the money, which I guess you would in this scenario, if you have the money for Chase Elliott, I mean, you could just take Chase Elliott out of the lineup and plug in Eric Jones. They're pretty much the same play today. Obviously, I have Chase Elliott projected to do much better just based off of odds, history, and things like that. I mean, you just have to, pretty much. But that doesn't mean that Eric Jones can't be the much better play at lower ownership. I'm not saying Jones is going to be unowned, but he's definitely going to be lower than Chase Elliott, at least I think, in my ownership projections. So that's one way to get different. I mean, you can still play chalky guys, but just taking out some of the even chalkier guys and mixing it in is one way to do it without going crazy and playing like Eric Almirola, Chase Briscoe, Harrison Burton. Got a donor from Man Stanley here. Says thoughts on Priest and Haley and McDowell. Are they good plays this week? They're in tougher spots. Ryan Priest definitely in a tough spot here. I believe he's starting in 13th, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he's starting in 13th. So, I mean, he's going to have to basically get a... It's not like it's a regular track where if he just gets you like 30 points, it's going to work out. I mean, at a track like Atlanta, you're basically going to need the top 6 scores. And for Ryan Priest to be a top 6 scorer, it's going to be really tough. So I personally am not playing Ryan Priest. Justin Haley, I'm okay with a little bit of Haley just because he's a good plate racer. Starting in 17th, I don't think the colleague cars are bad for DFS purposes. So I think he's fine. And Michael McDowell, we know he's a good plate racer, but I don't believe he's had the most success at Atlanta so far. Pulling up his numbers, average finish at 20th, which is like right where he's starting. Like, he's fine. Like, if I had to rank these guys, I'd probably have a Haley, McDowell, and Ryan Priest. But Priest is not really someone I'm getting to. If he finishes third, whatever. I don't think it's likely scenario. So, same with Blaney. He seems to burn me weekly. Yeah. Haven't had the best luck with Blaney this year. I played him at the road course, and he stayed out that one time, and he was like in 6th, and he spun twice at the end. Unfortunate. But, yeah, I haven't really just played Blaney much at all this year. It's just been... There's not many weeks we play Fords, it seems like, so just been a little bit lower on him. De Palma says, let's run a full race this week, please. Oh, don't even remind me. I have PTSD from last week. That was rough. I mean, I'm sure you guys are like me. If we're all playing similar guys, I mean, we were doing very well for the large majority of that race. Like, my highest owned drivers were Christopher Bell, Shane Van whatever, Tyler Reddick, Martin Truex Jr. I mean, that's the top 5 right there about the entire race. Ty Gibbs, and then the field gets flipped because they shorten the race and our guys already pit, which, I mean, it was smart. I'm not going to get mad about that, but it just sucks the way it happened because then all my guys went to the back and they started spinning one by one. It was just very unfortunate when you go from all the way up here to all the way down there. Sucked. Let's see. Chris showing up late, then wonders why he's so far behind in the chat. All right, Thomas, that's enough out of you. Spencer says, "What's up? Thumbnail takes my pick. Love the way Elliott has been racing the last few weeks, but I feel the same about Kyle Busch. Good luck, guys. Love me some plate racing. Yeah, it's definitely fun to watch. Now, me personally, I wish this was still old Atlanta. I love high tire wear tracks, and it was always a Kevin Harvick clinic, which we do have the narrative. This is his last Atlanta race, and we know how good he's been in Atlanta. I personally haven't bet on him to win. I would not bet him right now, though. I think it's down to 18. I got him at 35, so I wouldn't touch it at 18, but just know I am rooting for it. And he did run well earlier in the year at Atlanta, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, it should be a fun race. And Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, I mean, both excellent plays. They're basically the same play too, starting in 22nd and 23rd. Good plate racers as well. I mean, they can definitely pass without crashes at a super speedway. Now at Atlanta, I mean, maybe it's a little bit tougher, but I mean, it's not like Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain are going to be stuck in 34th all day. You know, I mean, they're going to be able to pass, and then obviously there's going to be stage breaks and things like that. So TG says, any DK builds where you can go Elliott and Busch and it makes sense? Oh yeah, easily. I mean, pricing doesn't matter. You can leave as much money on the table as you want this week. Like if you plugged in Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, you could easily go then Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, Austin Dillon, and then throw in like a Corey LaJoie. I'm sure that will fit, and it's not a bad lineup at all. So yeah, totally easy. Shauna Monica. It's a fun name to say. Any manufacturer / team you are favoring? Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Penske, Hendrick Gibbs, Trackhouse. So early in the week, I bet Ford to win, plus 160. I think that's down to plus 140 now. And it was nice. I was in Ohio early in the week, so I actually got to legally bet, and it was much nicer doing it that way. So I got those in early, but yeah, my lean would be Ford to win. I mean, they're fast in qualifying once again, and we saw it earlier in the season how good they were. They have Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney. I mean, two of the best plate racers in all of NASCAR, and they're going to be starting near the front. You also have Almirola there, Chase Briscoe, which I'm not really expecting them to be contenders, but definitely looks like Ford will be strong once again, so that would be my personal lean. Carfield says to start at 5:05 Central Time. It might as well. Brandon says, Bubba Wallace will win this race. Well, I mean, he is a good plate racer, but he's definitely got his work cut out from him, starting in the very back, but it's not a huge deal on a track like this. Joe says, everybody and their brother are going to play 9, 8, 20, and 48. Yeah, they're definitely going to be very popular today. There's just a lot of good plays today. Obviously, all the place differential, but I was not expecting this many big names starting in the rear. And obviously, during qualifying, I'm focused on the top 10, and I completely forgot who was just in the very back. Chris says, are you starting any top 15? And if so, how many? I would be very low on the top 15. Like, Brad Keselowski is a guy I love in the top 15. I'm going to have a decent chunk of him. I think roughly 20-ish% is fine with Brad Keselowski because he's definitely a contender to win. And over on FanDuel, he is free. I don't know why he's free, but he is. So I'm going to be playing him over on FanDuel quite a bit just because it's really easy to fit him in. And I forget the question, honestly. What was it? Oh, in the top 15. I think Denny Hamlin's 14th, right? So, yeah, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, like, those are the guys I'm targeting inside the top 15. Everybody else I will be pretty low on. I mean, sprinkle exposure on Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano in case they do it. Joey Logano did in April, or March. I forget when Atlanta was. But either way, it's basically Keselowski and Hamlin for me in the top 15 for the most part. James says 2v2 for DraftKings GPP, Cindric and Bowman, or Austin Dillon and Keselowski. I would have to go AD and Keselowski there. I mean, Cindric's obviously fine, but I do trust Keselowski more. That I'm looking at Bowman and Dillon as somewhat similar plays there, so I'll just take the second option. What's up, Ryan? Says who are the must-play chalk? If you're playing cash games today, it's hard to say one's way better than the other, but I think you have to start with Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, and Bubba Wallace. And then you probably need to throw in a Ross Chastain there. So everyone's going to play those four in cash games today. Then after that, it just depends on who fits. I mean, Austin Dillon will be popular, Corey LaJoie, Stenhouse, Jones, guys like that. But I would say the must-play, if you're doing cash games, is the Bowman, Wallace, Bell, and Chastain. Preacher says, God is good, Chris is almost as good. Oh, thank you. Charles says, Blaney drives a Toyota, don't lie to chat. Yeah, obviously drives a Toyota, guys. Blaney could be driving a Ferrari today, and I still wouldn't roster him. Darren says LaJoie or Dillon last spot. I thought I'd have to go with LaJoie there. I know you're giving up a few place differential spots, but LaJoie's just been so good at Atlanta. I don't know what it is. We know he's a good plate racer, but I mean, he almost won the race last year until Chase Elliott bullied him a little bit, and I think he finished like 20 or something. I had a lot of Corey LaJoie that day. That was unfortunate, but LaJoie just knows his way around this track. So whatever it may be, I do like Corey LaJoie quite a bit today. I got Donut from Man Spreader, do appreciate that. Says it is a Blaney day, and he needs it after 3 straight finishes in the 30s. Love the shirt, go Blaney. You know, I thought about it, Spread. I said, I'm gonna put the shirt on today. I'll make you happy. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind a Blaney win. Now, it might not be the best outcome for DFS purposes, but maybe we'll just hope that the place differential outscores him anyway, and he can win, and then we all still do fine, even if he does win. What's up, Jake? Let's get it. It's race day for sure. What's up, other Chris? Hope all is well with the family. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I see we're giving Joe a hard time in chat. I do like the Blaney love, though. It's my favorite driver, but Blaney and Larson. DePalma says, let's go Almirola wire to wire. If Almirola leads every lap today, I'm just going to have to log out for a bit, I think. That would be very unfortunate. I don't think anyone wants that, right? Hope not. Check says, thoughts on cash, Chris? It's a chalk fest today. I mean, I don't want to repeat myself, but I mean, the 4 I talked about, I mean, there's just the obvious plays. And then it's probably going to be a 2v2 after that. So I don't know what fits after that off the top of my head, but something along those lines. Austin Dillon wins. Ooh, I don't know about that. I mean, I'm going to have exposure, so I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But I'm really rooting for a Ford to win today. And if it's not a Ford, I want Bell or Hamlin, because those are the outrights I got. Yeah, he's got a chance. He's got a chance. Rexy says, how are you feeling about Haley and Hill? I like Hill a little bit more just because of the place differential. Obviously, Haley is a good super speedway driver. So is Austin Hill. No, I believe he got into his. I didn't get to watch the race last night for Xfinity. I watched trucks, which was disgusting. Somehow doubled up on Prize Picks at the end. I don't know what happened, but I'll take it. But yeah, I didn't watch Xfinity. But Austin Hill, I know, is a really good super speedway driver. Charles says Almirola would be awesome. Was able to hammer him a DK at 3,500 after qualifying. I actually think that has slight value for me. Let me check my stuff. Yeah, so it's 0.1% value. There's only 4 drivers that had value after qualifying, and it's all within like 0.5%. And he was one of the guys that just got there. So I would say that's a decent bet at 35. I didn't personally do it, but. What is up, Joe? Oh yeah, Blaney definitely has a shot to win. I mean, if we had to pick a driver to win today, I think we'd say Blaney is the most likely scenario. But I mean, again, I haven't projected to win, but percent chance that he does win for me is roughly 8.2%. And then you have to factor in, he's got to lead a lot of laps too, and you're not getting fast laps. I mean, we're drafting, so he's not going to automatically get all the fast laps up front. So, I mean, he's got to lead a lot of laps, and he has to win. So he has to do those two things, and that's why he's only showing up in the optimal for me around like 7% of the time in sims. I think that's a fair rate that he's in the optimal. Because it's tough. I mean, if there wasn't so much place differential, I could see where that's probably creeping up towards 10 to 15%. But when you have all those place differential plays in a similar price range, it's just tough, you know? Because they don't need a lot to go right. They just need like it just to go okay, you know, like just a regular race. Albert says, over under on comments of Chris's fashion related around 20. You know how it is. I see Miss Jules is here. Says, hello, handsome. Hello, thank you for being here. I know you're in the other room, but thank you for watching, as always. Ewokaniad, am I saying that right? Today is Josh Bilicki's day. You know, were you the guy that was talking about Josh Bilicki at Chicago or something? I just remember Josh Bilicki just going like pure speed for like a couple laps. I was like, does this dude know something I don't? But I thought that was funny. Isaiah says, Blaney, Burton, Elliott, Hamlin, Joy, and Wallace. How's it look? Who should I switch? Burton with 5,100 or lower. Yeah, Burton's definitely tough. And you already have Blaney. So, I mean, I don't know if you're going to look at the correlation of Team Penske there, maybe. But I don't like having two guys in the top, what was it, 5? Isn't Burton 5th? Yeah, 2 in the top 5 I don't love. Especially when it's not like a big dog. So if I had to switch it for 5,100 and lower, yeah, that's tough. There's not really much down there. I mean, I do have, let me look at the projections. So I have Burton for like 12.8 points. I have Ty Dillon McLeod both higher than him. So if I'm going to flip a coin on either of those, I don't think it's the worst idea. But I have a really hard time trusting Harrison Burton. Charles says it's Cole Custer. Oh, gosh. Yeah, Cole Custer is unfortunately back this week. Hate the guy. I'm sure he's nice, but he annoys me for DFS purposes. So, and starting in 21st, I mean, it just makes him very tough to play as well. Got a dono from Amanda. Do appreciate that. She made a return to Discord this week, but says, just showing some support for Jules and a little for you, Chris. Thank you. I will make sure the majority of that goes to her, but we do appreciate the dono. Thank you very much. Dave says, favorite low-owned driver starting 20th or back. Favorite low-owned driver starting 20th or back. Let me pull up the ownership projections here and see what we got. So if we're looking 20th on back, the low-owned guys that are showing potential leverage, it's not much. I don't think Gregson or Austin Hill are bad plays. They're showing a decent amount of positive leverage there, so maybe one of those two guys if you're going looking for a cheap option. I don't think they'll have as much ownership just because the name value is not really there. What's up, C. Mitch? Says hello, Chris, and happy race evening, everyone. Appreciate you being here. What's up, Bryson? Anything you like on price picks today? I don't. I talk about a couple in the article just because I'm sure I mentioned I don't think you should play price picks on this slate, but if you must, I didn't mind Corey LaJoie under, I think he was at 46.5 points. I don't know if that's still there, but I like LaJoie under 46.5, and I am trying to remember the other one. I think it was Daniel Suarez at 42.5. So I had the under on Suarez and the under on LaJoie. Don't know if they moved or not. It was at 42 and 46, so if they moved, I don't think I would touch it. But that's the only thing I liked. Darian says, Chastain for the win. Good. I mean, I wanted to do well for DFS. I just wanted to win. Rush says, give me a race winner. I don't know. Good luck picking the race winner today. I would say Ryan Blaney, but just spin a wheel. Has the rain followed tonight? Well, I don't know if anyone's posted anything about the weather yet. I mean, I looked at the weather for Atlanta, and it didn't look as bad as everyone was saying, but I'm just looking at Google here, so let me see if I can get an update. Okay, well now there's more storms. Ooh. Well, it doesn't look great. I mean, it looks like we can start, obviously, but if you're looking at the precipitation forecast, it goes up to like 60-80% around 9 p.m., 9 to 10 p.m., so that could make things interesting, for sure. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I didn't think they were going to start the race last week. I thought for sure we were going to Monday, but they started it. I don't think Denny Hamlin was too happy about that. Ryan says, I guess he's cheating or whatever. I guess. Bell's going to win? I wouldn't mind it. I definitely wouldn't mind it. DePalma says, everything is better with salt. I do use my fair share of salt, but I have never considered using it with watermelon. Never considered it. What's up, Dirty Bird? Let's hit this money. Keselowski or Blaney? Are you asking me to pick between the two? If I had to pick, I'd say Keselowski, but... Andrew says, I live in Fort Myers. Well, me too, sir. I live in Fort Myers as well. You have to... I'm decently close to the river. I don't know how close you are. Says, I was at my son's football camp in Naples all day. Oh, well, hopefully that went well. I love Naples. It's an amazing city. Anyway, Burton or McDowell, I would definitely have to go with McDowell there. Just more place differential, and I feel like very similar upside. What's up, Pugsley? Says, salutations, fellow kiddos. Nice of you to make it. What is up, Mom? Hung out with my mom all week last week in Ohio. Good luck, NASCAR fam, and go Joey. And this is one of those tracks that Joey definitely has a good chance. I mean, he just dominated it just a few months ago, so you might be pleased with the winner tonight, Mom. Yeah, I like Keselowski as well. He's definitely going to be, definitely should be strong. He always is at these track types for sure. Jody says, all place differential places in small cash games, Elliott, Bell, Jones, Joy, Bubba, Bowman. I think that looks really good. I have no problem with that at all. It's going to be very popular too, but for good reason. I was going to say I don't want to be tempted to go to Joy over Jones, but you have both, so never mind. Thank you, Poker. Good luck to you as well. Albert says, got the live chat, World Series of Poker coverage, splitting some MLB DFS. All the hobbies are represented. Yeah, that sounds like a fun time. I'm only doing one thing, right? I don't do the other sports on Sundays usually just because I want to focus on NASCAR. Power says, salt on watermelon is the same principle as Sour Patch Kids. With that said, I don't like it. People put salt on Sour Patch Kids. I mean, I don't really eat those, but didn't know that was a thing either. Little known fact, salt is what brings the sweet out of corn when you cook it. Oh. I like to cook a lot, so thank you for the cooking tip. You never know what you're going to get here. Let's see. Joe says, I can already see I will listen to this, take my Blaney picks out, and he will lead 100 laps and win. It's possible. I mean, you can't rule it out. Isaiah says, Hamlin, Blaney, Wallace, Busch, and Bowman on FanDuel. That's fine. I mean, again, you just have to be careful. You just know the risks with Blaney. Although on FanDuel, it's a little bit different because place differential isn't scored as heavily. So I think he's probably a better play on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. Which, FanDuel lineups are just so easy to make. I don't know if for anyone playing on FanDuel, my favorite lineup and my highest projected one has $1,000 left on the table. I think everyone is going to run that. So if your lineup on FanDuel has $1,000 left, just know I think everyone made that lineup today. I'd have a hard time seeing it not being every other site's optimal as well. Just kind of falls into your lap. Stack Toyota? I mean, I'm not really stacking teams today. The Toyotas I'd have interest in, obviously Christopher Bell, Truex a little bit. Gibbs is starting pretty high up. It makes it tough. Wallace, obviously in play. I mean, some of the Toyotas are fine. I mean, it's okay. I'm not really going my way to stack them, though. Mundo's World says, with the place differential plays, we prioritize any doms in your lineup? No, you shouldn't focus on dominators at a track like this. No, I mean, would it be nice to have the dominator and the guy that leads almost all the race and wins? Sure, but just the nature of the beast here. I mean, especially when you don't get fast laps, just doesn't make it as important. I mean, if you want to build some lineups where you have a guy up front and the rest place differential, you can do that. But what's up, Alex? Says happy race day, boss. Hope you're well, man. 1 week closer to that Joe Burrow week 1 beatdown. Here's the cash core today. Thanks in the best. I'm just going to ignore the Joe Burrow part. I do like Burrow, though. He is pretty cool. But the cash core today, Christopher Bell, Bowman, Wallace, Chastain. You pretty much just plug in those 4 in and get some cheapies that have place differential. It's pretty much all we're doing. And I got a bunch of emails, people signing up for the free trial on Patreon, which if you guys want to check that out, you certainly can. I'll put the link in chat. We got about 500 people watching. This might be the biggest stream we've had, which is incredible. So I do appreciate everyone being here today. Let me drop that link in chat. Just a completely free week over there if you want to check it out. Okay. Brandon says, hey Chris, what you think of Blaney, Chastain, Bell, Bowman, Jones, Haley? I think that's a good tournament build. Again, you pretty much need Blaney to win if you're playing him today. Just know that, guys. Like, pretty much has to win. And I'm talking about optimal. Like, if he finishes 5th today, your day's not over, but obviously that won't be optimal. But I think that's fine for tournaments. De Palma says, like, when I'm speaking, I'm kind of talking in like an optimal sense, not like, no, your day's done if Blaney gets like 6. Day's not over. Just, I should probably make that known that it's not a death sentence if he doesn't win the race. De Palma says, Jones 8th, 14th, 4th, last 2 races at Atlanta, lock and load. I mean, Jones is just a great play racer. He really is. Now, I forget if it was at Atlanta or Talladega this year where Jones was like in 20th something, and then he just ripped through the field in the last lap and gained like 20 spots. I think it was Talladega. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. They showed a really cool in-car video of that, though. It was really sweet. Albert says, how many... I'm sorry, I missed the question. Pugsley says, I went Byron, Hamlin, Bell, Brad, LaJoy, and Haley. How do we feel? Should I get to someone lead laps early on instead of one of the mid-pack guys? That's fine. I mean, again, like, yeah, they're not leading laps, but they can make up with that for the place differentials. It's not a huge deal. But you're like dead mid-pack with a couple of place differential guys, so I think that's totally fine for tournaments. Wouldn't go there in cash games, though. Albert says, how many of those dead zone drivers from Keselowski to Reddick would you play in a lineup? And I'm assuming you're referencing the video. We talked about it where there's like a big dead zone here because there's like it's like a chalk sandwich. So you have Chastain, Bell in the 30s. Then you have Wallace and Bowman in the 30s. And right in the middle there, we have pretty much all the same exact plays with Reddick, Buescher, Truex, and Keselowski. So they're going to be lower owned just because of that, because you can't play everybody. How many dead zone would you play in a lineup? I mean, personally, 1. If you want to stretch it to 2, you can, but I think one of them is probably the best route to go. Justin Sports says, who are the top 4 chalkiest guys this week? So for my ownership projections, I have the top 4 as Wallace, Bowman, Bell, and Chastain, which I think it'd be kind of hard to argue against that. Maybe Elliott or Busch gets pumped up just because of the name value, but that's what I got there. 45 car at night is a thing? Is it? I have no idea. I mean, it's a super speedway though, so even if it is a thing, he could always get clipped. Thoughts on Austin Hill? I mean, fine place differential play today. Just hope he doesn't wreck, and I'm sure he can gain a decent amount of spots. That's certainly possible, Vinny. I mean, I'm all for more potential chaos, but we will see. They are running it at night, though, to help with the more extreme temperatures. So we'll see how it goes, but what is the temperature in Atlanta anyway? Yeah, it's about 90 there. It's not going to cool off until around... Yeah, it's going to be hot pretty much most of the night, so I guess it won't be that cool. But, I mean, fortunately enough for the fans, it's not going to be like right in the middle of the day. That'd be brutal. No, I don't think anybody in the front's going to be chalky this week. We saw in the first Atlanta race with Logano in the pool, I think he was 16 to 17% owned. And then Ryan Blaney, I forget where he started, but I think he was in the top 10. He was around 14 to 15%, 14, 17, somewhere. They were in the teens. And I don't think they're going to be as high this time around just because we didn't have as much place differential plays in the back, I don't believe. So I have them being a little bit lower owned projection-wise. So I think they'll probably be in that 10 to 15 range and probably on the lower side. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see how people are going to click their names more often than they would the place differential guys, especially if they're using optimizers because they're just not going to project as well. Like, I feel like the majority of people probably have Blaney projected, like fantasy point wise, like around 35-ish points. Same with Joey Logano. I think everyone's going to have him around there. But the place differential guys, they're going to be like around 50-ish. So it's just going to be tough to get there unless you force them in. Because I got Blaney at 38-ish. So this is what a 38-point-ish projection looks like. It's a 6.9 projected finish with 7.7 dominator points. So, I mean, it's not terrible, but, I mean, a 12th place finish from Bell gets you about 56 points, you know? But, I mean, if you're assuming Blaney won and you just take away a 6th place finish, I mean, that obviously looks a lot better. We're talking 45-ish probably. Or no, because you get 46 for winning, so it'd be close to 50. Depending on how many laps he led, obviously. Bubba's going to spin. I mean, he could, but he's a good play racer, though. He really is. Freaking Slip says Logano. Sim play is Blaney. I would treat them the exact same. Brandon says favorite contrarian play, not named Blaney. A lot of Blaney talk today. Really, really is. Favorite contrarian play. I don't know how contrarian Keselowski's going to be, but I mean, he's one of my favorite guys in the top 12. So I would say probably Keselowski. Keselowski, Eric Jones, Neil Suarez. I like those guys a lot in tournaments. Why is it a night race this week? Just to reduce the heat for the fans, I guess. So Bob's been telling everybody, which I get. I mean, I don't think I'd want to sit in the stands in 90-degree weather. Probably feels like 110. Logano dominator today? I mean, he could dominate for sure. It's just, is he going to stay up front? Like, they can totally dominate and look good for 90% of the race, but it's just a matter of do they stay there? Because, you know, if they lead 150 laps and then they crash, like, who cares? Didn't do anything. Spread says Ford's like Blaney, Joey. They need to lead a lot. Place differential is coming. Blaney or Joey leads over 100 plus. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that one of those two could certainly get a large chunk of this race. It's just a matter of, is it going to outscore the place differential plays? Like, if we didn't have all those place differential plays, that's where it makes more sense to roster these guys. But the way the starting grid is, you know, it just makes it a little bit tougher. Chris says, is Truex a good play? He's an okay play. I don't really have a strong stance on Truex. I mean, he's okay. Probably. I mean, I got him projected to finish around 10th to 12th, which, you know, it is what it is. He's not going to be projected better than the place differential guys, though, because they have very similar upside starting way in the back. I'm hearing McLeod is having Sablicki will drive for him to make sure you play him today. He is real fast. I'm pretty sure this is Josh Bilicki, and he's just bored before the race or something. Although, I mean, Bilicki's not in the field this week, so. Yeah, apparently he's Bilicki's biggest fan. Race fans, 22 says, weather looks iffy tonight, story of the summer. Yeah, it definitely looks a bit dicier. I looked earlier in the week, or not even earlier in the week, like yesterday, and there was like nothing in the forecast, at least for me, but now it doesn't look too pretty. Suarez good PD play? Yeah, Suarez is a fine play today. What do the Sims say? One lineup? I can't just give a whole lineup here. But, I mean, a lot of the place differential is projecting very well. Hello, Thomas. I appreciate the hearts. We definitely had a fun day in Discord. Man, Eric's here, says, go Birds. Is it rowdy season? It's a little bit rowdy season. I'm okay with some Kyle Busch today, Eric. Actually, both your favorite drivers are totally in play. Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch. So, got a donut from Mantito. Says, Truex slander, got it. You're dead to me now. If Truex slander gets me donuts, I'm just going to keep slandering him, then, Tito. It's easy as that. Hopefully you're enjoying the beach. I'm out on Ty Gibbs today. Apparently he had a date last night. Is that a thing? I have no idea. But I mean, it's tough to plan anyway for where he's starting. Pay down to McLeod to open up more up top. The thing is, though, you just don't really need to do that this week. Like, you can pretty much build whatever you want. What's up, Rick? Says, I'm late, but I'm still here. Good morning, CP and Rice fam. Don't have to apologize. Well, I guess you didn't apologize. But I'm late every time you also, so it doesn't matter. Ford or Toyota, I'd pick Ford overall. Like, to win, not DFS-wise. I don't know really how it stacks up, but I'd pick Ford to win. I'm taking a stand on the two fastest cars all year, Larson and Byron. Thing is, though, it just doesn't really matter at a track like this. I mean, this doesn't matter. It's not the same package, so everybody's pretty much going the same speed for the most part. It's just all about managing yourself in the draft, staying clean, and I mean, you can be as fast as you want at a track like Gateway or Charlotte or whatever it may be, but it doesn't really translate to this. So, AB says, tournament lineups on DK, building, do you need 2 dominators or build around 1 plus PD? You don't really need any dominators, to be honest. It's not one of those tracks where dominators come into play. So, I wouldn't worry about it. Like, if they fall in your lineup, sure, but it's not a big deal. Ross says, Bell, Bush, Busher, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Austin Hill. Thoughts on the lineup? It was hard to say with all the B's and A's, but I think that's fine. I mean, you got place differential galore. You got a potential race winner with Brad Keselowski and even Chris Busher, who I actually don't think is a bad tournament play at all. So it doesn't look too bad, Ross. Natalie says, need to pick one between Busch, Chase, and Logano. That is very tough. I have Elliott projected the highest, although he is 0.7 away from Kyle Busch, so that's a coin flip. So whatever you're feeling the most on that one. Wish I could tell you I have a lean there, but I'd be lying to you. Mike says it came in late. Who's your top 5 on DraftKings? I mean, the top 4 in DK pretty much today. It's Chastain, Bell, Wallace, Bowman from like a projection standpoint. Well, Bowman's not projected the most out of all these guys, but I mean, just for where he's starting, it's going to be tough to avoid. Jack says, unknown Larson is going to sink all the battleships. I hope not. I think what was the optimal in my stuff? Like, not much. Yeah, he was getting no love. He just does not have the greatest history in tracks like this. Whatever it is, call it bad luck. But, I mean, it's just almost every single time he's involved in a wreck. What's up, Kai? Says the GOAT is live. Appreciate it. Kez winning today. Mark it down. Possible. It wouldn't surprise me. I know Bull's all in on Keselowski. At least that's what he told me. Cal says, so you're gassing up the Fords but not playing much of them for DFS. Why is that? Just for where they're starting? I mean, they're going to be fast, yes, but I mean, they can easily get involved in a wreck, and they're just not going to offer you as much. Because, like, I can think they're going to do well and finish high, but at the same time, Christopher Bell just having an average day is going to outscore these Fords up top. Like, he doesn't need to do much. Average day from Christopher Bell gets the job done. Mediocre day from Bubba Wallace gets the job done. So, you know, like, there's a difference between, like, betting purposes or in DFS wise. Like, do I think Alex Bowman's going to be a race contender today? No, but starting in 36, he makes a ton of sense for DFS. Like, just because Kevin Harvick's in a Ford starting 6 doesn't mean I'm going to play him over an Alex Bowman in 36. There's just way more paths to optimal for Alex Bowman, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, typically the wrecks come where the fast cars are up front, jockeying for position. Then there's a guy that makes a stupid block, and then all the good cars get taken out, and then you're left with the mediocre guys. Got done for me on, I don't know how you say it, Pepcac, I think that's what it is. But appreciate the dono, sir. Let's get it. Hopefully we can get some good luck tonight for sure. It's a Penske day. I mean, they're always contenders at these types of tracks. Yeah, Keselowski, former Penske. I still think of him as Penske whenever we go to one of these tracks, because I feel like he always finds his way with Blaney and Logano anyway. They're just like old times. He was my long shot. It was Harvick, but he got bet down a lot. So at this point, I would say long shots maybe. Man, he was on the pole, but Almirola still has slight value for me. Almirola, Eric Jones, guys like that have potential. Yeah, Buescher's not bad either. What's his odds though? At 28, I guess we can call that a long shot. Chastain, Bell, or Elliott on FanDuel. I believe on FanDuel, Chastain's... No, it's still Bell. Bell's the highest over on FanDuel for me. Mark says, how's this for a strategy? Take a high position for a dominator, Blaney Logano, a mid-tier, Elliott Busch, and someone in the back. Chastain and Bell, I mean, it can work out. I mean, we saw the 1 year, the optimal was the guy starting 1-2. Keep in mind, though, very good drivers, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, they're just pretty much up front all day. So, I mean, I don't think Almirola is a guy that can control the race as well as like an Elliott or a Chastain. We'll see, though. I mean, Almirola's not a bad plate driver. And I believe he led some laps in the spring as well, but it's not the worst strategy. Jack says, well, it's a different strategy than the rest of the industry. Lots of 2 to 3 DOMs over place differential. Really? Who is considered the industry? Because I'd be very shocked if people are playing 2 to 3 DOMs. I mean, I haven't really snooped around today to see what people are saying, but I don't see how I'd be surprised if people are playing dominators over place differential today. Very surprised. Buescher, good pick. Yeah, Buescher's he's sneaky for GPPs tonight. He is. Wow, I am so behind. I still got to build lineups too, so I'm probably going to have to get out of here by like 6:30-ish. So hopefully I'll catch up by then. Noah says about the hit Straka outright. Who am I putting this new cat? I don't know who that is. Is that a golfer or something? Golf usually ends on Sunday. But who am I putting this new cash on tonight, Chris? I would bet very light for Atlanta. This is not a track that's easy to predict. If I had to pick a winner, Ryan Blaney would be my guy, but I'd go very lightly. Very lightly. Jared says, GP, I'm rolling with Logano, Hamlin, Ross, the boss, LaJoy, Bell, and Ty Dillon for DraftKings. Not too bad, Jared. Wish you all the best on that. Buescher, Bell, or Blaney. Triple B. If I had to pick a Bell, but thoughts on Buescher. I mean, RFK, so if he just can work with Brad Keselowski, I think he'll run well. I mean, all the Fords should be fast. Just a matter of avoiding wrecks if there is one, or not getting out of line and falling to the back. Byron Dub, I think that's the first time we've heard anything about Byron today. I think we all remember what he did the first Atlanta race where he just absolutely crushed it. Play all the Bs today. Blaney, Bell, Bubba, Bowman, Buescher, Byron. Certainly could. I don't know if that fits, but if it does, it's a viable looking lineup. Rush says Dinger. Charles says I'd be okay with it. 35 for Almirola to win. I mean, it's definitely possible. He's got good track position at least. Now, is he going to be able to hold that? That's a different story, but Michael says, was winning 11K if race would not have happened like that. Talking about last week, yeah, I was doing really well too. Just got absolutely obliterated after because of all the slow cars up front up in the back went straight to the front, which sucked. What's up, Tito? Yeah, of course. I always know the message. Steven says Burton is always a bad play. Is Burton? Yeah, I'd have a hard time getting there, Andrew. I know finishing position's somewhat more important on FanDuel, but I have a really tough time getting to Burton. Truck race was ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I watched, I think the first lap, there was like 5-10 spins. They just kept painting one by one. Another spin, another. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I know these guys suck, but I didn't know they were this bad. PJ says, can you give us a few underdog plays? Underdog was annoying. I hit all my underdog, I think, besides like one last week, and it was Hamlin. Had the under 10.5, and he finishes, what, 11th? If he would have just hit that, I mean, goodness, it would have been a good week on there. Very unfortunate he finished 11th. Makes it hurt worse. But over on underdog, again, I don't really like props for this week. But I think the Larson, I guess they changed their verbiage. It's not lower or higher anymore. It's better or worse, which is a lot better because that was confusing before. I think worse for Larson at 8 is probably a good bet. I mean, just history-wise, it's been a good bet to have Kyle Larson finish outside the top 8, so I would probably take worse on that. And I know we all like Chase Elliott today, but I think 6.5 is a bit high, so the worse on that's not terrible. And then from Blaney, better than 8th. So still not bad, but again, I really don't love the props this week. Brian says, Hamlin, Elliott, Chastain, Jones, LaJoie, and McDowell. Sounds pretty good to me. McDowell's definitely going to be pretty low owned today, so that's definitely your difference maker there. Minskill says, max out the 150 with all the same lineups. So my. Well, hey, if you hit optimal, you're just going to have the best train of all time. Chica with the rents, you know how he is. What about Ricky? Yeah, we haven't gotten any questions about Ricky today, but Ricky's firmly in play. Good place to good plate racer, so definitely don't mind him. Is leaving cash on the table an option today? Yeah, I would encourage you to leave money on the table today. Usually the smartest thing to do at tracks like this. Larry says, is Truex, Busch, or Reddick a good pivot from Bowman or someone else? Yes, they're fine pivots, for sure. I mean, are they going to project as well? No, but the ownership would definitely be a lot lower. Single entry GPP on DraftKings, Busch, Hamlin, Bowman, Wallace, and LaJoie. 6,700 left. Who would you go for the last fill? So you already got LaJoie. I would probably just go with Austin Dillon, to be honest. I would say Austin Dillon in 33rd. Is a single foul on all restarts today, gents? No, that's only a thing at road courses if the weather is like it was last week. That definitely wouldn't happen at a track like this. Gibbs or Jones? I would go with Eric Jones. Harvick or Gibbs? It's a tough one. I guess I would say Kevin Harvick. I guess. Both pretty gross, though. Brian says, what would you suggest the max ownership on any one driver for a 20 max entry contest? But I mean, it's tempting to go like lock in Wallace and Bowman, but if they happen to wreck, I mean, no, they're not going to kill you because they're in the very back, but I would probably limit them to like 50, 60-ish, just because you don't want to go too heavy on chalk at tracks like this. Eric says this isn't necessarily like Daytona and Dega, correct? Correct. It's a hybrid. It's weird. We only have a 3-race sample size here, so it's not like we can really say definitive on how this race is always going to go, because obviously that's not a good enough sample size. But we've seen, I mean, there's probably going to be a wreck. I don't know how many drivers it's going to contain, but I mean, there's definitely going to be cars that die tonight. Now, the question is how many, we just don't know. Daytona, we always know we're going to lose half the field. It's just a given fact at this point. Talladega, hit or miss-ish. And Atlanta, we're still learning. So I'm playing lighter than normal. So everywhere this week. So I would encourage everyone to play later as normal as well. Kiana says Bell Bowman, Chastain, Suarez, Wallace, and LaJoie for cash, or is there a better combo? No, that's a pretty good lineup there for cash. I don't know how much money's on the table, but I think that looks pretty good. I do think Elliott will be popular for cash, but I mean, it's not like he's an absolute must in 23rd, so I think that's fine. Rush says, who is the winner? I mean, if I had to pick, I'd say Blaney, but I'd be lying if I told you I know who it would be. Chase for the win, it's possible. Although I don't understand how Chase gets smoked by the Fords, qualifies in the 20s. I realize qualifying doesn't mean too much, but the books always shift odds for qualifying, and oh yeah, like I said, he gets smoked in qualifying, and then his odds go down. Which by down I mean better for him, which I didn't get that at all. He went from 10 to 1 to 8.5, and I was so confused. Yes, sir, it is showtime. Logano, Bratislawski, Wallace, Busch, and Elliott, you're welcome for the free money. Well, I mean, obviously you're going to need Logano to pretty much dominate and contend for a win, which is possible. But outside of that, yeah, I like it. I think that's totally fine. What fades in the rear? I mean, not really any fades in the rear. They're just straight up good plays. Is LaJoie about as low as you'd go on DraftKings today? Gregson, only other play that doesn't make me sick. No, I think you can play. Austin Hill, Justin Haley, Gregson, obviously, Austin Dillon. I think they're in play. No one else really is though. We see things in the rear. Custer has to weigh his car down. That has to be a disadvantage. Is that a fat Custer joke? I'm here for it, if so. Keselowski or Blaney? I would say Keselowski, fantasy points-wise, if you're talking DFS. It says 456 watching, only 125 likes. Let's smash the like button, guys. Yeah, if we could get 200 likes, that'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. Any Byron on DraftKings GPP? Yeah, Byron's in play today. He is. Thoughts on Larson at low ownership? Tough to like Larson at tracks like this. It just normally does not go well for him. Now, I realize that can be luck-based. A lot of it can be luck-based, but I mean, if you're looking at Atlanta, average finish at 24.7, not a top 10 to show for it. Only has one top 15. Doesn't really lead laps. If you're looking at the 9 next-gen races at super speedways, average finish at 24th and one top 10 in 9 races. It's just, I don't know what it is. He just always gets stuck somewhere. So I am just going to fade Kyle Larson, and if he wins, whatever, I guess. But can't play everybody. Yeah, Kess is definitely a good play. Bubba going to be super chalk? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Top 3 in ownership today. The future radar doesn't look good for 8 p.m. Yeah, didn't look that great. I was looking at it, and if it looks like some rain's gonna come in. Sorry, I was reading the tweet. Eric says, question for Oakley. Blaney or Joey in single entry with chalk mixed in? Woof once for Blaney, twice for Joey. Knowing Oakley, I think he's gonna woof once. So that's what we're gonna go with. Hopefully Oakley's right. Steven says, rain shortened race, and we will be, oh yeah. Another shortened race, but not be good. Jimmy says, I live right by the track, and it's already getting dark. It would be a shame if we got pushed to Monday. Or I just really hope we don't get to halfway and then it rains all night, because then that's game over, you know? So if it's going to rain, please do it before halfway, or obviously I don't think it's going to do it before the race starts, so just hopefully it happens beforehand. Over under red flags of 1.5. That's tough. I don't know. Kind of want to say the over, especially if there's rain and they're going to be racing for the rain. That could get dicey for sure. Man, it says, your newness to Florida is showing. Put some salt on your watermelon, buddy. Trust me, you'll never go back. I don't know. It just sounds weird to me. Not going to lie. I want it sweet. I'm not seeing it. Jay says, I'm from Alabama, Talladega to be exact, and we eat salt and pepper on watermelon and cantaloupe. On cantaloupe too? My goodness. I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. Salt with watermelon, dude, is a menace to society. I agree. I don't get it. See you there, Rush. Pedro says, any love for Stenhouse? Yeah. Stenhouse is a fine play, post differential. Top 3 fades. I mean, I'm probably not playing any Kyle Larson, Chase Briscoe, Amarola. I mean, they're going to be low owned, but I'm just not playing them. Matt says, I just want to say hi to all the race fans. Hello, Matt. Good luck to all, and thanks for what you do. I have to make dinner for the fam before the race. You do that, Matt. I'm going to have to make some dinner, too, after this. So hopefully you make something good for everyone. Spread says you can sell salt to a slug. Salt makes the fruit sweeter for sure. Maybe we'll have to try it. Maybe we will. No rain till 11 p.m. expected. We'll see. Everyone's saying different things, but that's what it's going to be like for the weather. Everyone's looking at something different, so you never know. Eric says less than 2 months until NFL is back. Yeah, we know you love NFL. Have to mute the word Phillies on Discord. Or thinking baseball. Have to mute Eagles. Just play Stenhouse. What could go wrong? Oh, nothing ever goes wrong with playing Stenhouse. Nothing to worry about. Frank says, can you rank your place differential plays of the better drivers? Well, there's a lot. I guess I would say probably Bell, Chastain, Wallace, Elliott, Busch, Bowman. Probably in that order. Logan says stop showing. Truex was mentioned like twice. I said he was he's okay. It's about really the only thing I can say. Getting to avoid the wrecks tonight. That's all it is. I mean, you can play the fastest guy in the world, but if they get caught up in a wreck, I mean, it is what it is. I left 13.4 on one FanDuel lineup, and I like it a lot. I mean, you can leave a lot of money on the table on FanDuel this week. That is for sure. Conscious says, sorry, I invited my whole cold. You're good. You're good. And it says, what about Byron, Wallace, Chastain, Keselowski, Suarez for cash? I mean, I like Keselowski today, but playing him in cash is probably not the best option just because there's a lot of downside. Like if he wrecks early, you're looking at a lot of negative points. Meanwhile, if like a Bowman wrecks early, it's not really doing too much to you. Need laughs from Blaney? You certainly do. Appreciate that, Kenny. You're the man as well. I think Joe's going to die on the Blaney Hill today. For better or worse, not sure yet. We'll find out. Harvick for the win today. I'm here for a Harvick win. That's my best payout for outrights today. And it would cash my Ford to win, so I'm okay with the Harvick. Yeah, I don't think anyone's talked about McDowell really. I mean, he's kind of in a dead zone. He's middle pack, starting in 20th. Like he's a good plate racer. Hasn't exactly had the best success at Atlanta so far, but it's a 3-race sample size. So, I mean, he's okay for tournaments. Peter says, you know if any of the drivers have a birthday today? You need a lock? I don't know if there is any birthdays today. I don't think so. Does the entry list have birthdays? Don't think so. Obviously, Chase Elliott's back in the home state, so he's got that working for him, though, if you want to. I think the only narratives are Chase Elliott in Georgia and Harvick's last Atlanta race. I think it's really about it. Any Cindric in your lineups? So I actually still need to build. I'm going to do that right after the stream. But I don't think I'm going to get any Cindric. If I get Cindric today, he's going to be my 150 max, and it's probably going to be like 5-ish% would be my assumption. Yeah, that's certainly possible, Get the mad drivers in your lineups. Adam says, can I get your favorite driver in each price group? I will try. I'd say in the 10K, it's probably Elliott. 9K is Bell. 8K is Wallace. 7K is Eric Jones. Then LaJoy and Austin Hill, I guess. Hopefully that answers your question. Rush says, when should I check my lineup to know how much I'm going to win? I don't check until after the race this year. I never used to do this. I always advise people to do it, but I don't look anymore during the race because if I would have looked last week, I know I had everybody up front. If I would have looked and saw that and then saw it all go away, that would have hurt. So I like not knowing. So I would wait till after. Timothy says, if I missed the cash talk, I'll go back and watch, but in case you can go over your leans, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, I talked about it, but I mean, it's basically just Bell, Chastain, Wallace, Bowman, all those guys in the back. Just want place differential for cash games. Any good picks on underdog? Hopefully you heard me. I think I'm probably still pretty far behind. Thoughts on Stenhouse and Harvick? I would prefer Stenhouse. He has a lot more place differential. Harvick, I mean, you basically need him to finish top 5. I don't think I want to talk you off of Recchi. I think he's a solid play today. Jones or Stenhouse for cash? It's a toss-up. I personally have Stenhouse projected just a little bit better, though. Just a little bit. But I will be very heavy on Jones for tournaments today. Favorite tournament plays? Love Jones, love Suarez, like Keselowski. These kind of guys look pretty good to me. I don't love Burton. And I'm definitely not playing Jeff Burton today. I will have 0% Jeff Burton. What do I think about the dead zone lineup? Byron, Truex, Keselowski, Buescher, Cindric, and McDowell. My Mixon, Reddick, and another similar lineup. So I would probably just pick like a couple of those guys. I don't think I would go full on dead zone. I think it might be overboard if you go all in. Yeah, pro tip is to not look at your lineups until after the race. It's just, you're just asking for pain. It's not going to stay the same. That rhymed as well. Anthony says, is Elliott a good pick for tournaments along with the others you were talking about? Elliott's fine, but he will be high owned today, so it depends on how much chalk you already have in your lineup. Right now, my 6 for DraftKings. Can't give out a lineup. M says, new subscriber here. Appreciate you being here. Can you discuss how team play impacts Dominator points today? Maybe 4 drivers up front for good for the current 7.5 Camarola, even though he's not that aggressive. So, again, I'm not worrying about Dominator points too much. Now, we'll see who's going to dominate. I don't think guys like Blaney, Joey Logano really want to just be sitting right behind him all day. So, I feel like at some point they try to get up front and control the race. I mean, that's where they usually feel the most comfortable with, and I think it's better than being someone in the pack. So I'm personally not like thinking it's going to be too much of an impact, although I do think the Fords will certainly control the race. We'll see who it's going to be. I do think Almirola will lead some laps today for sure, but we'll see for how long. Appreciate it, Carmi. Why Sunday and not Saturday? Well, the thing is, though, ratings usually suck on Saturday, so. Eric says, can you say hi to my wife, Jan? She makes fun of me for watching. Hello, Jan. And take it easy on Eric. Don't make fun of him too much. But maybe a little bit's fine. I think he can take a little bit of heat. Would you put Burton in the lineup? I don't think I personally would. Appreciate the kind words, Amanda. Yes, I try to answer every question I can, although I don't want to run out of time too much. Hopefully, did lock move at all? I got to make sure I don't miss FanDuel lock. I've done that a couple of times on shows before where they lock earlier than DraftKings, and it's like, oh god. I think my first ever stochastic show I did, or Osmo back in the day, I missed lock on FanDuel because I forgot they locked early. So we're still at 7. That's not bad. Best 5 picks on FanDuel. It's basically the same guys we've been talking about on DraftKings. They're interchangeable this week, so it doesn't matter. I would go Eric Jones over Suarez, but it really is a coin flip. Intercept seems like it's really hard to pass and wrecks are coming from the back at these races. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, we've seen the optimal lineups at Atlanta, and while there has been some guys up front, it's still a good chunk of place differential. Like, they're going to make their way up. Kyle says, is 35% Elliott and Kyle Busch too much for 20 max? I already have 50% Ross and Bell as well. No, I think that's fine. I feel like you're going to be pretty even on the field, so I don't know if you're wanting to be overweight or underweight, but just know you'll probably be pretty even there. Elliott or Busch you like better? It's just one of those impossible questions. Like, I like them the same, but I guess I'd say Elliott more, but it really is the same. Just gotta hope one doesn't wreck, I guess. I don't know. Keselowski or Reddick last minute on FanDuel. I would go with Keselowski personally, just a really good play racer. Yes, Eagles. I do see this being more of a place differential race as far as who's going to be the highest scores. Now, would I be surprised if a Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano win? No, not at all. But I think DFS-wise, the place differential would be the most important. Now, maybe it takes a while. You could be sucking at the beginning portion of the race, but Chastain or Bell? It's tough. I guess Bell, but it's like they're the same. Wallace, Chastain, Bell, Bowman, Elliott. Yeah, I definitely like that lineup. I think that's the does that leave 1,000 on the table, Kyle? Because that's my highest projected, and I think everyone's gonna play it. M says counterintuitive to say downhill points don't matter here, while also saying top speed won't matter much. It would imply just to pick those at the top if there's less movement in the leaderboard. No, I don't think that's really what I'm saying. I mean, place differential is always the name of the game at these types of tracks, because even if they pick up dominator points, if they're starting in front and not finishing up front, like you can lead 100 laps, but if you finish 10th here, it's just not going to get the job done, because fast laps, you can't just rack up fast laps here because it's a drafting track. If this was like a Kansas where they're not running the super speedway package, they could pick up fast laps, and that's where the dominator points come in way more handy because they have more of a leeway to finish worse in the field. But at a track like this, when guys are getting 6 to 8 fast laps, right around that range at most, if you're lucky, it just doesn't hit the same because you're not getting that full 0.7 point for the dominator points for each lap. So again, it just doesn't really matter too much because we're basically just playing on finishing position or place differential. And being super fast, I mean, sure, it's great at certain portions of the race, but at the end of the day, it just all comes down to where you are in the last lap and who avoided the wrecks and the carnage and things like that. So it's not really something I'd ever worry about at a track like this. LaJoy for the win? That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I don't think it'll happen, but it'd be cool. McDowell LaJoy on DraftKings. I would say Corey LaJoy. Playing a lot of Blaney and Logano. Is that too aggressive? I think it's a bit much. I would probably pick one if I had to. What's up, Rick? Says I just got to the hotel in Miami. Hopefully that's nice. I have not been to Miami yet, but I want to. Been driving 5 hours here for my wife's surgery tomorrow. My makeover. Well, hopefully all goes well, sir. Blaney, Hamlin, LaJoy, Bubba, and Bowman. It's fine. I mean, again, probably going to need Blaney to win or finish top 5 and lead a large chunk of laps, but if he does that, I think the rest of the lineup does look pretty good. Bill says he's at 40 lineups, 25% Logano, Blaney, and Almirola. Whew. I think it's a bit much on the ownership. I mean, especially on all 3 of those guys. I'd probably pick one to be heavy on. I mean, I'd say it's really not likely that, I mean, just math-wise, I don't even think it makes sense to have 25% just based off of the probability of them winning the race and just to dominate as well. I don't see it working out personally. Oh man, I am way too far behind. 623. If you had to fade one on DraftKings, who would you exclude? Chastain, Bell, Wallace, and Bowman. I guess Bowman if I had to. I guess. What's up, Trey? Spread says almost 500 peeps. Let's get 500 likes. I wish it worked like that. Unfortunately, no. Team 24 since the 90s. 24 car has definitely been fast since the 90s, I'll tell you that. Haley down on DraftKings, who you like the most? Probably Gregson. Probably Gregson. It's not great down there, though. Peter said, any tips for single entry? I would build it pretty similar to a cash lineup, but I would get a couple pivots in there, if that makes sense. Another hour till the race. Yeah, it's a late one. Underdog locks? There's no locks on Underdog this week for a track like this. I don't want to lie to you and give you guys plays just to give you plays. There's no locks. Joe says, I was doing great last week until that call to shorten the race after some pitted. I hate NASCAR. Yeah, that was annoying. I mean, I had outrights on, even worse, we talked about DFS. I had outrights on two drivers, and it was Bell and Kyle Larson after qualifying. They were running 1-2. I'm like, we got this in the bag. They're so fast. Christopher Bell's dominating the entire race. Larson was getting better. I was like, we're sitting pretty. Next thing I know, they're just back of the pack. Bell's spinning. I forget where Larson finished, but just really annoying. Blaine Elliott core. I mean, I can't put Blaney in my core today. I would tell you what, though, there is a lot of Blaney love in this chat. Like, I like the guy, but for DFS purposes, I think I'd tame it a little bit. What's up, Pope? Pope is here in your contest. Appreciate that. Nice to see you. Steven says Blaney will wreck out with all the love for him, so enjoy that. It really is. I mean, anybody can wreck. No one is. You can be as good as you want at super speedways, but anybody and everybody has an equal chance of wrecking. Daniel says, who was the chalk? Because I want to run the opposite way. Wallace, Bowman, Chastain, Bell. That's the chalk today. That's possible, De Palma. Steven says, I want Carnage and Blood. I don't know if we want Blood. I'll take Carnage, though. There's no Dom groups for me this week, so Coldham. Just no groups at all, just kind of running it how it is and having my exposures how I want it. I don't have any groups. Suffer says Busher, Suarez, or Stenhouse. I would have to say Suarez, I think, is my highest, or is it Stenhouse? Okay, it's Stenhouse. By a couple points. Preacher says it's going to be a clean race. I think mostly it'll be clean. But, I mean, at some point, I think something happens. But even if it is clean, the place differential in the back, they don't need wrecks for it to work. I mean, you don't need, like, a wreck fest for these guys. Adam says, Chris, what's your biggest win of all time? So I won the Chrome Horn, which was at $4.20 max, and I was in college, which was not that long ago. Only 24. But and then I won the lug nut like 5 or 6 times during the COVID year, which was an awesome stretch. So thank you, Eagles. Although you guys make the show, I'm just here answering questions. Already have Kyle Busch and Keselowski with 10-2 left on DraftKings. Where do I go here? Final pick. I would say Chastain or Bell if you don't already have those two. Justin says, I've never placed. Oh, boy. Chris Buescher. Sneaky tournament play, but I wouldn't go crazy on Chris Buescher. John says, BJ McLeod to win. No, really, I could see Harvick winning for a Cinderella story for his last race at Atlanta. Certainly possible. Am I looking for 2 to 3 guys up front and 3 to 4 guys for place differential? Not necessarily. I mean, I have a mixture, but I'm definitely leaning on like mostly 20th on back, mostly. Although I do have like Keselowski exposure, Byron, Denny Hamlin. They're getting some. Oh, I might have to scroll down a little bit. I don't think I'm going to make it by 6:30. Let's see. It says Ford should control, but don't write off Chevy based upon bad qualifying. That happened in heat of the day. Said it was for a night race. Don't be shocked if they look better tonight than yesterday. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, I would be very shocked if the Fords aren't strong again. But I mean, again, for DFS purposes, I really don't. I'm not like heavy on a certain manufacturer or anything. Appreciate that, Steven. It's a bit of a marathon going through all this. I just scroll down a little bit. If I missed a question this week, I apologize, but I do have 30 minutes and I have to make some lineups here. This is a big stream. It was definitely a lot of fun. I'll answer a couple more questions here. Got another donut from Amanda. Appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Yes, I am very far behind in chat. You guys ask a lot of questions, and I want to answer everybody's, but I don't think it's going to be possible this week. Is anybody starting in the back? I mean, I don't. Did Bob tweet it out yet? I mean, I know Bell. I mean, I don't really care. Yeah, it's just Bell so far. 11 minutes. Bob just tweeted that. 720 green flag, Bell to the rear, and a 40% chance of rain. Is Patreon like OnlyFans for DFS? Yeah, totally. Actually, kind of it is. Pants are optional on Patreon. Cannot confirm nor deny that. Okay. Well, I think we're good here. I went to 6:30. I got to get out here and build lineups. Thank you, everyone, for being here. If I didn't answer your question, I do apologize, but do appreciate it. I have no idea where we're racing next week, but I'm looking forward to it either way. Hopefully it's not a sucky track. But it was a fun one. I wish you all the best of luck tonight because that's what we're going to need because we can't project this. Just kind of have to hope for the best. Just have to hope you set yourself up right with the right strategy. But wish you all the best, and I'll see you all next time. And thanks for the fun stream.